Can you hear that? The call for adventure. Well, what are we waiting for? Become a legend of the sea in the REDMERROW Chronicles, an ongoing campaign for 5th edition. Explore its exotic and diverse isles, making friends along the way, and no doubt, a few enemies. All while gaining access to hand-drawn battle maps, character art, and tokens. Not to mention keeping players on their toes with the ever-growing book of encounters most random. All this and more in the Northern Wildling. Start your adventure today.
And we're here. Hello, welcome to Band of Badgers. I am Dave, your host for this session, and joining us as our Q&A guest this time is Ben Edwards. Ben, how you doing?
This is me. I'm alright, how are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying a bit. It's been a really long week. It is Friday night here in the UK. It is just gone 9 o'clock. And yeah, cheers everybody.
Cheers, bank holiday weekend.
Mm-hmm. We have a 3-day weekend coming our way. The sun will be shining. It will not be raining and grey, but let's do our best. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, Ben is a lot of things. He's extremely talented. He's a writer. He's an artist. But basically, he is now also a game designer. And one of the games he's done recently that we had the opportunity to play, so do check that out on our YouTube channel, is REDMERROW Chronicles, which is a fantastic little one-shot adventure that you can pick up right now, I believe, via Ben's Patreon page. Joining me, as always, is co-host Steve. How you doing, Steve? Really well done.
I'm great, thank you. Yes, I'm just looking up some stuff what we was talking about off stream, so I'm going to be a little bit quiet for the next few minutes.
No, that's fine. I just got to find out how to turn it off, basically. So if you have any questions, if you're joining us in live chat, if you're joining us on YouTube, it's too late for live chat. You should have joined us on Twitch. So if you're joining us on Twitch, if you have a question for Ben, please do put it in chat. Nice big question in capital letters and then the question.
Even if you watch it on YouTube, I've got Twitter.
Yeah, you can contact Ben directly. We've got in the box below Ben right now. You'll see his social details pop up on his various flyers that he's got, and examples of his artwork. And these are all examples from the REDMERROW Chronicles too. But during the next kind of hour and a bit, we're going to be talking to Ben about all his current projects, some of the secret ones as well. Now, for those of you who don't know who Band of Badgers are, we are Band of Badgers. Band of Badgers is a club. We're a social club based in the UK. But for online kind of things in the Matrix world, we help support writers, artists, designers, and creators all across the world on all our various shows. So if you want to kind of you want to play games with us, if you want to, like Ben, you want to talk about your work with us, so all you got to do is get in touch and we will happily create a show just around you, which is fantastic. So
they make you feel so special.
We do. If we could meet in person, there'd be lots of love, hugs and kisses, but there's not. So instead we just kind of raise a glass and go, huzzah!
Huzzah!
Because it's Friday night, so why not? So you can find all of our content on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/bandofbadgers. And if you would like to support us, you can. In all the usual places, we have Twitch subs, Patreon, merchandise, and even an Amazon wishlist. Now, with all of that out of the way, Ben, how are you doing?
Good. It's been a strange week.
It's been a bit of a. You can go into detail if you wish. You've had a bit of a medical emergency week.
Yeah, slight medical emergency. So if you want to follow my Patreon,
Yep.
that'd be amazing.
I want to pay for his medical bills. There we go. Yeah.
Oh no, not to brag, but UK we don't have them most of the time.
God bless the NHS. There we go.
Thank you, NHS. But yeah, no, it's been interesting. It's been slightly busy week. Had a lovely commission off friend of the Badgers, Rick. He commissioned me to do an excellent gnome character, warlock character they had. Came out great.
Fantastic.
And yeah, and just prepping. I released a new Patreon update today, which is a map and some cool character art.
Cool.
Which, as little as £1, you get access to the character art. And that's going to be the thing I'll post most. So for £1, you are getting so much worth out of that.
And they can use these for anything, right? I mean, this is NPC art, bad guy art, potentially even character art if they decide
if
to
that's
use
what
it.
you want. The way I'm drawing most of the NPCs, most of the bad guys, I'm not doing them like this bog standard, oh, that's an evil character. Like, no, you could make that your hero if you wanted to.
Okay, that's cool. So what else has been going on, Ben?
In truth, just getting in the right place with the Patreon. To be fair, make sure I'm well ahead. Which I'm in a good space where I'm well ahead. So it's just gradually rolling out the concept while working on other projects, such as a comic, which I will talk about later when we show some of this lovely artwork.
Yeah, that's cool. So we had the chance to play Redmerrow Chronicles, which is the one shot, which is available now on your Patreon page.
100%.
Go back to the beginning. How did you come up with the idea? Why did you come up with the idea? And without giving kind of story spoilers, although we have it pre-recorded anyway, but for people who haven't yet seen the adventure on YouTube, what can you say?
That's the beauty of it. Even if I did say spoilers or they watched the Band of Badgers YouTube, which they should, they could play it completely different. Like, I did a few test plays, and you guys as players completely played it differently to some of my test players. So that was an interesting experience. Just seeing how it was gratifying to see that the story was allowing me to be that flexible with certain paths and all that. So it makes me feel like, oh yeah, other DMs or GMs will be able to like use it as their own, play it the way they want to play it. But so I got introduced late to D&D. It was always something I knew about, but never something I looked into because I just had no one to play with. Yeah. Until I went to uni to study art, and a lot of nerds. And so one night, my friend Choose, one of the test players, he said, "Oh, do you want to play? I'll DM. Do you want to play D&D one night?" I was like, "Oh yeah." So I think we spent 4 hours doing it old school, creating the characters with just the sheets and the books, not having a clue what we were doing. But we just got into it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's so good. So I did the very, very newbie player thing. I was a fighter who was neutral good. I'm going to be a hero. And that player suddenly, he lost. It was a very punishing DM who, if you roll a 1, you're going to lose a pinky or 2. So he just had no toes, few fingers, hardly any teeth, and last time we played, he got me. No one would pick up this evil amulet that you have to kill someone or you get sent to hell. And then it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Screw being good. I'm gonna go all evil and just see how far I can go with it. I ended up drop kicking a nun.
As you do.
It got dark in some places, but I was like, I enjoyed it. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. But
was that the first character art you did? Did you draw that character?
No, didn't draw that character. No, that was just the first time I played. I was studying art to do comic books and that. And in truth, when I first started the illustration, comic art, and children's book course, I don't know if that courses exist like that anymore. It's all changed at Glyndar University. It was a fantastic art school. I had a fantastic lecturer called Dan Berry, who's a great artist who you should check out. He really helped me to find myself as an illustrator. Because, back when I started playing D&D, I could not do what I can do now.
Right.
So it's a testament. So it's nice that I might, like now you mentioned that, I might return to that character during before and after the campaign that I played. It was only a short one. But, so we played that. I was like, oh, cool. And we couldn't play it that much because he was busy, obviously. And then he got that BM fatigue, which I'm sure Dave never gets.
No.
He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to get it, I don't think.
No. So, 10 months of weekly games plus extras plus charities, and I'm still doing it.
But yeah, that fatigue, and I was like, I think I picked up a thing or two. Didn't know how to DM. I thought it was just I'm good at ad-libbing. I'm good at pretending I know what I'm doing. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll create a story, and that's the thing that I really loved. I loved like creating. There was modules available, there were books available. Didn't look at them. I was an idiot. I was like, I know how to write a story. I'm going to make the story. I'm just going to tell an adventure, and it was very, very basic, and it was mad, but in my head, I was with players who also didn't know what they were doing. So we played some form of tabletop RPG. I don't know which one, but it was fun. It was silly, and then I took it on, finished uni. And I was like, I can't really play with them people as much as I could. Some of them are my test players, which is nice. So we still carry that on.
Yeah.
But I was like trying to get some people from work, my brothers, like a few lads from work who D&D is not their world. And so I did a D&D night, and absolute disaster. That's when I realised, oh shit, I actually don't know what I'm doing. Because they ran circles around me, like just questioning, getting bored. I was like, oh no, so. Then I was like, no, never DMing again. I'm not doing this again. And then at work, I'm able to like listen to podcasts and all that. So I started watching Critical Role to see what the fuss was, and I picked up the fuss pretty quick. There are other shows available, Band of Badgers, if you want to check them out. But Critical Role is where it started for me, and then just watching those guys play, that's how I picked up how to actually play D&D. You can play D&D however you like, but that's where I was like, oh god, like that's how I want to do it. That's how I want to play. And then I started to find YouTube tutorials on how to actually DM that, and then I was like, fuck it, let's try again. Let's get the dickheads from work. Let's all get together. Let's get drunk and let's do it. And it was this beautiful moment where so many of them was against it and tried to do what they did last time of like wrecking it. But they got so into it. The ones that were so against it got so into it. Like one of them was the chief note taker, and they ended up just getting so wrapped up in the story that it's like, oh my god, right. So what happens? Like 4 hours passed, and it's like, friggin' hell, that's flu. Because as you know, it flies when you play D&D.
We also have a work group in my place, and it was a cape obviously before lockdown. And it was great. I mean, we used to do stuff. We'd be playing from, say, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. We'd order pizza because that's tradition now. And we'll be playing till 1 a.m., 2 a.m., but that's tell the boss. And it was great. You know, we loved doing that. But as you say, you don't feel drained. You come away from... When you play a table game of D&D, you don't feel drained at all. You just feel...
No, it's a very natural high.
Yeah, it's a really, really good, really great feeling, and it's a sense of achievement.
Don't get me wrong,
well.
you sleep well that night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like you feel like, oh yeah, because you've literally conquered the dragon, you saved the princess or prince,
and I think
you did all those things.
Whether you're a creative person or even a non-creative person, it's an outlet. You get to control your character. You get to see and sense whatever else that they're reacting to. You are them in every sense of the word. And I absolutely love that about role-playing games in general. There's very much a disconnect you get from computer games. Computer games have never been able to get that sense of imagination, that sense of connection. Role-playing games, or how you interpret the story, how a GM interprets a story, can be very different. You can have very different experiences with different groups of people playing the same story. It really isn't the same experience again. And I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. So Benny got his groove back. I could DM again. I was like, oh, right, cool. So I was playing a game with Unilot, and one of them pretty much called me up for like, how come you're using someone else's map? Like, why don't you just make your own map? Because I was like, oh, I've got this map, just pretend this is here, pretend that's there, pretend this. I was like, why don't you just use your own? Huh. I kind of like shrugged it off. I was like, I don't know if I like drawing maps. Turns out I do. So it was a case of, I already had the story for them. I was thought, right, I'm just going to just do a story as and when I can, just do it for fun, because storytelling and writing, it is something I truly do enjoy. And character development, and there's no better character development than in role-playing games like these. Like, that's what it's about. And it's when I actually based my dissertation on the character-driven narratives. Like, I can't remember a lot of it. I got a first, so it must have been a good one. But yeah, it's I had all this story, I had these characters, so I just thought, right, I'll give it a try. I'll do it for fun. And then I started getting all the maps. I was like, oh, it's a nice looking boat. I like that boat. And then it kind of like it exploded from there. I was like, oh, all right, I'll do this bit. Okay. Oh, I'll add this map and do this. And then it got to a point where I was like, oh, I've got a... I kind of like had a moment. I was like, huh. What would it look like if I turned it into a book and made it look pretty? Which, this has been months in the making, just on and off for fun. No much thought into it. And then I just had a mad weekend, just 2 days of like just hyper focus on making a book. And that's what REDMERROW Chronicles is, which you can get right now over on the Patreon for £8. £8, and you've got one hell of a couple of nights gaming. It's good fun.
So at the moment, REDMERROW Chronicles, which is obviously what we played over 2 sessions, we finished 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That is complete. That is available on your Patreon page, and as you say, that is the £8 tier.
Yeah, that's the £8 tier. That's chapter 1 of REDMERROW Chronicles. That's an ongoing book.
Yeah.
That's an ongoing campaign. But in between that, everything else that you get quicker is a book of encounters most random. That is just a series of encounters or puzzles that you can just throw into your own games. You want a little filler? It's there. All the resources, maps, character art, tokens. Just makes your life a lot easier.
And what is the plan for chapter 2, chapter 3, and however many chapters you're going to do for REDMERROW? Have you got a schedule for release on that?
For REDMERROW, there's no there's no in stone date when I'd release. It's as and when, because I work full time. I've got other projects on the go, so this is more of a like I'll throw it out there. If it's something that people like, I'll do a lot more of it. Say if I've got more backers, I can dedicate more time to it. But as it stands now, it's just something I'm going to chip away at it. So hopefully, and near the end of this year, get chapter 2. But I'm still going to keep updating everything else on the Patreon, so no one's going without content.
Yeah. So there will be content every month. regardless of whether it's REDMERROW or something else. For your patron tier, you'll get
To be fair,
content every month.
it's content every week.
Right.
At the moment, yeah, it might slow down a bit, but yeah, at the moment it's content. It's just so. I wanted to make the content so universal that you could use it in anything that you want to play. Pathfinder. There will be a month where I'll dedicate something to Starfinder. Some sci-fi maps, sci-fi characters. Mix it up a bit.
Something would be good to see is if you're inclined to do it is sci-fi spaceships, because for example we're playing Starfinder in Steve's game where he's the GM, and
I've watched an episode.
We've loved doing flying spaceships. Now in my head I'm the pilot, so I'm picturing all the bells and whistles that I can pull and press and joysticks. But I would love to kind of get everyone to see what the group ship looks like. You know, there are various skins in the Starfinder book, but to have a custom spaceship that everyone flies around in, that would be pretty cool. That'd be nice.
I'll do a generic ship on the Patreon when I eventually do Starfinder content.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So how many tiers have you got? Because you talked about £1 tier, and also you mentioned the £8 tier for the REDMERROW Chronicles.
Good question. So I'll actually, yeah, because that's something that we didn't have a chance to talk about on the thing when this wants to load. Okay, you think I'd be prepared? So we got the £1 tier, and for £1 you get all the character art that I'm going to put up there. And so far I've got quite a bit of content that's up there that is just solely character art.
Yep.
Again, you can use these as your enemy, as bad guys. There's going to be monsters on there. There's even your heroes. There's the latest one that I posted today. There's some fantastic looking bandits.
Do they come with any stipulations? For example, you know, if they buy your character artwork, potentially they could be using it for themselves. But what if they are also streaming? Are they allowed to use it for that purpose, or do they have to contact you? What is there any?
I mean, yeah, no, they're allowed to. It'd be nice if they did contact me and like got in touch if they wanted extra content like for the thing. Yeah, we could negotiate that. But yeah, I'm not going to be so like, no, they can't. If they're paying for the content, I'm not going to say they can't use it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if they're streaming that, it'd be fantastic to have a little shout out or to be told like, oh yeah, I'm using your map as for our game on this Twitch stream. It's like, great, I'll come check it out.
Yeah.
So that's the £1 tier. For the £3 tier, which is first mate tier, you get all the NPCs again, plus you get all the battle maps that I place up. And these can be used for any of your home games, any games that don't really provide a map, saying if you needed a village or you needed a dungeon, it's going to be one available for you. The next tier is the Quartermaster tier, one of my favourites, as you get everything in the first mate. You get the NPC art, you get the maps, but you also get Encounters Most Random, which is an ever-growing PDF book of, actually, can a screen share?
Yep, let's switch it over. So when you're ready, go for it. Bing. Is it working? There we go.
Yep.
It's working. It's fine.
So
cool.
As you can see now, that is the very good-looking players that were the band of badges on the stream, which you can check out on the YouTube. It was 2 sessions of pure joy and fun. So, Encounters Most Random. So this is one of the updates that I did last week, and it's essentially Encounters Most Random. Your players best watch their step with the new encounters and puzzles as they take Morgana and the latest experiment. So this includes a map, some tokens, and some bad guys to beat up. And essentially I just didn't want to have a run-of-the-mill go in this room, beat them up, get out. I wanted to like mix it up a bit. So Morgana the Witch, a very original name that I made up myself. It's not from anything. So yeah, Morgana the Witch, she basically kidnaps the players, and it could be while they're walking down a road, while they're camping. The DM is free to pick any moment, any quiet moment of their campaign with like, yeah, I want a little filler tonight, or I don't want to think too much tonight, I just want to play. So once that's some of the harpies that she releases on you as you try to fight in her dungeon and try to survive. So every monster or encounter I'm going to make, I am going to do all the art of the monsters. So that's just for me having fun drawing monsters. So this is the map that the players would get stuck in. And Morgana then will approach them. It's a bit of spoilers, but she approached them saying, like, you lot looks like you can fend for yourself, so see if you can pass my experiment. If you survive, you get to live. Mm-hmm. And you get to escape, go on with your lives. So for this map, I wanted to make it so if the players got to be clever and they do detect magic.
Oh, that's nice.
That would pop up, and you'll see that there's certain ones lit up, and they are actually triggered by spells that Morgana's cast. So as the players are fighting the harpies, the harpies are going to encourage them to move around the map, keep it really moving, so they won't know where safe to step unless they do detect magic. Even then, for the DM, which the players won't see, is a cheat sheet saying exactly what each tile does. The red ones do fire the yellow ones, throw the players up into the air and then crash them down, and they could land onto another random tile. The blue ones freeze them in the spot so the RPs can just go to town on them. And the green ones, I want to say poison, I cannot for the life remember. But yeah, no, it's just little tools like that, and it's all available in the book of Encounters Most Random. So
is the Patreon Courtmasters here the only place you can pick that up from? Because I know you have an online store as well. Or do you sell the book separately?
No, the book is just solely available on Patreon. Right. Should it get thick enough, I'll probably release a Kickstarter where I say get a printed copy of this book. Go from there, but if you want it now, you can get the PDF over on Patreon. There's printable copies, all sorts. Yeah. So you get all access to the map, and there's also this new update, which is going to eventually become a Encounters Most Random. I just haven't got around to it yet. But on this Friday's update, it was a new map with some character art of the bandits, and I just didn't want to make some generic looking bandits. I wanted to make them look cool, badass. I wanted them to be to the point where, hey, I want to nick that as a character. That person looks cool. Like I know Rick's gonna have that character in a heartbeat.
Yeah, definitely. Have you got? There's something on the eye patch there as well, isn't it? I can't
on the what? Sorry.
So there's you got a shape on the eye patch.
Yeah, that is the little logo. Obviously on his belt.
Oh yeah.
That's going to lead into Encounters Most Random, where they're actually a band with a name, and then that'd be spoilers. But yeah, I wanted these guys to feel like a unit.
Yeah.
In fact, this guy was actually a character that I'm playing in a different campaign that my friend Tyler Wilson, who's got Twitter, Wilson Draws. Oh God, no, never. Oh God, no. I'm thinking. Wilson Draws. He's a fantastic artist. Him and Lyndon Draws, Lyndon White. Those two really got me into illustration. They showed me what comic books could be, and I was like, oh my God, my friends. Mm-hmm. And they showed me how. without those two, I wouldn't be doing any of this. I wouldn't even be able to draw to this point that I am now. So it's just, look, shout out to you guys. Love you guys. Again, this is one of the favorite characters I drew this week. I just think she looks badass. And yeah, you don't have to use her as a bandit. You want to play her as a player character? Do it. She looks great.
He was you mentioned that before. You know, obviously your artwork is intended to be generic enough to be used as either bad guys as NPCs, or people can use them for NPCs if they wish. But you also do commissions as well.
Yeah.
So you obviously drew the characters behind me for our REDMERROW Chronicle game.
One sec, Steve. Because we're a bit pixelated, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch us to the other scene. There you go. And then when you move, then...
So there you go. You obviously drew this one for the REDMERROW game, and if I push a few buttons, then I can also put up another piece of artwork that you did for our Lost Lights campaign, which was this one, which was that one there.
Two very fun characters to draw.
They were.
So what's the process?
This one I absolutely love.
What's your general process? So when someone commissions you for character art, what do you ask? What do you need from them to be able to capture a character?
Entirely depends how much freedom and how much trust they have in me. So a couple of information. What's any reference pictures? What's the description of the character? Like, are they cocky? Are they nervous? Do they have certain favorite color? Is there any color palette that they want me to focus on? Like, or any information is good information, to be fair. And if they have a few reference pictures, like, oh, I quite like what this character's wearing, can I have something like this? You got it. Or I want them to be in this like dynamic pose. Yep, no problem. So any information, so I'll generally get that information off them. I will draw up a rough, which, depending on how complicated it is, it could take me anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour. If they're happy with that rough, I will take a deposit from them. If they're like Rick or some other fantastic commission people who've commissioned me, they pay up front because they fully trust them. Like, you guys are the best. Like, you to feel that kind of trust, like, I'm going to make sure you're looked after. But they're not that comfortable with it. They pay a deposit. Then once I've done the rest, pay me the rest. But because admittedly, you do get absolute douchebags on the internet, and there have been people who have got artwork from me and not paid. And that's unfortunately how it is. So I'm at a point now where I'm like, I can justify like not doing more work for you until you pay me.
But what about the artwork itself? Where do you start? Do you start with faces, eyes, features, colours, shape?
It depends entirely on pose. I'll first gather a lot of reference images, or I'll to save me time, I'll say if there's a character doing that pose, I'll take a picture of myself doing that pose, and it'll essentially be, I'll do a rough trace around me just so I get the idea of the shape. Then I'll just go for a refined rough and just add on all the, say if they got a long coat, I'll draw in a long coat. And
I know Alex Ross that used to do that. Well, he still does that. Fantastic artist. Does loads of comic artwork. But yeah, used to get models in, get them into poses, take photography, and then just literally draw them as they are.
Yeah, no, it's there's a weird, not only with the people that don't make a living or don't make a lot of money off art who say like, no, it's not real art if you're tracing. Like, no, if I'm not going to spend an hour drawing this hand like this when I can do that, trace over that hand like that, tweak it so if say I was drawing a woman, it look more feminine, or even if she's just make it look like someone else. That's easy to do. I save so much time doing that. The one thing I'd never do is trace someone else's artwork or use a reference image I was allowed, or it's a whole debate where people don't consider certain art, like, oh, you're not a real artist if you can't do everything by memory. Like, no, use reference. But
yeah, that's clear that you don't. I mean, so let me rephrase what I'm going to say. You take commissions, and you're obviously working for people who are commissioning those pieces of art. They will give you a lot of information. So just so everybody's aware, I think I had about a 20-page Google document in order to create an Enki. So thank you for bearing with me when I put that together.
That's fine. Like, the more information, the better. As an artist, I want to make as close as possible as to what you have on your head. And for me to come to a fraction, like a little fraction or close to that, that's fantastic. So the more information I can get off someone who's commissioned me, the better, because that means I have a lot more to work with.
Even though they're commissioning you to obviously draw their character, there is still fundamentally your style.
Yeah. I think a lot of, if you're going to commission any artist, I think have a lot of trust in the artist you're going to commission, because if you give them that trust, they're going to make something fantastic for you.
Yeah, because whatever you've got in your head, still got to go on that piece of paper. But there has to be that transference, doesn't there?
Yeah, there's
responsibility, that trust.
There's some elements that you gave me so much information, I just do exactly what you said. But there were information when they're like, I wasn't given that much information, so I was like, yeah, I trust you, go full rein. And they was like, oh my god, I didn't think to do that. I didn't think to have this. I love that she has this. I love that they have that. And I was like, yeah, I'll just put my own little spin on it. And it, like, I have a sense of style with these things, so I was like, it's nice when you feel when you're feeling trusted.
Yeah.
There's an item you did for my character actually, which is you did his helmet, because he's got full body plate armor with this red cloak and like tappings and stuff, and it was the helmet, and I never envisioned the helmet because I always envisioned my characters without the helmets, and it was from my point of view, it was a take on the Gladiator film, the Gladiator helmet, and it was perfect. I was like, yes, that was my most excited bit, and then it was the detail as well. So it was like the clasps where the cloak attaches to the suit of armor, and it was those kind of bits and pieces which I really enjoyed seeing.
I love adding little details into things, especially maps, because I want to make it where there was a time in the REDMERROW Chronicles that we played through where we was in the study. And there was all writing on the wall, papers lying about, and you guys were like, oh my god, I want to look at everything. I want to investigate everything. Just to like, because you picked up, I had a painting face up against the wall, and you picked it up, and you was like, why is that there?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, God, you ask. I had art at the ready because you turned it over. And it really adds to the narrative of it all when you can see what you're looking at. It's like, as much, it's a beautiful thing that you can play with just purely your imagination, but to have something in front of you, you're like, let's get the brain ticking. And it's like, just nice.
Yeah.
It was, because that was also, it fed into the final encounter as well, because it was the old owner of the house that had been turned into that slime creature at the end. That was cool.
With if they didn't see that picture, you probably wouldn't have thought much about who that was.
Yeah. No, that led into the story nicely, actually. Just staying on your commissions, this was originally the reason for asking the question. People can reach out to you on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram, Twitter at Ben Edwards Toons, or I do have a Patreon tier where you can get a commission once per month.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
I'm just going to post in the chat your link tree page
Please
as well,
do.
so that people can contact you that way. But what about pricing on your commissions? Because you have different tiers depending on what the final product is.
Yeah. Let me get the pricing up. Swear to God, I have everything ready, guys. Don't you worry. So you can get a portrait, which is just a headshot. I'll get there. It's just that. Just a headshot of your character.
Which would be great for tokens.
Which is
roll 20.
Every commission I do throw in a free cool looking token.
Cool.
No problem. So £25 or $35 exchange rate. For half a body, like
I'm just waiting to see if you can fit the whole body in now. You've done two. I know what's coming next.
that's a challenge. And that's £50 for half a body, which is the most popular one.
Yeah.
Or $70, and again, free token. And you can do full body in a better pose. You can do a full body with a nice little background going on for £75 or $104. Again, you get the token. And to be fair, if you're the royal,
Hey, look, if a royal get in touch, let's play. Play chapter 2.
If you're a loyal commissioner, what would it be? If you come to me for your art enough,
it's a commissioner, I think, isn't it?
Commissioner sounds very regal. You're a commissioner. I pay forward the loyalty that you give. There's a friend of the Badgers, Rick. He comes to me for his characters quite a lot. And it's got to a point now where I was like, oh, I'll do something nice for him. He's one of those, he just pays straight away, fully trusts me. I'm like, oh, beautiful man. He's always got these interesting characters, and it's such a pleasure to do a job for him. But he did a few characters. So I got to a point where I was like, right, I'm going to make a nice little poster of all these characters together and just give him that. Because
that's a nice touch. Yeah, that'd be really nice, and that would be great for. I could imagine Rick, because Rick is he loves his character and character artwork. He posts them across social.
Passionate.
Yeah, he talks about them all the time. He plays these games. He reuses the art, and he's talked about how much the characters mean to him. So then to give him, like a portrait of all his characters together, you could do it like in a movie pose or something like that. A D&D movie poster with his characters. Oh, that would be amazing. You can have that idea.
He's writing it down.
He's writing it down, yeah.
No, I was literally about to. I was about to show you what I did for him, because that's pretty much what I did for him.
That would be cool.
Oh, cool.
Have you got that?
I don't.
It won't show up that well.
No.
But I can see.
I'm gonna pin it. So that does look good.
Yeah.
That does look good.
I'm going to post it on my social medias in the minute, or you go on Rick's social media, it's on there.
Yeah.
But it was just a nice little thank you to him. That I was like, all right, he's got enough characters here where it's like, I want to do something nice for him. And yeah, that's, if you come to me with commissions, like, I'll be eternally thankful for you, and I'll do nice things occasionally.
Yeah, Ben's actually, so before we went on air, sounds very formal, doesn't it? Before we went on air, Ben actually did an image for Badgers as well, and it's superb. So when things go wrong, we now have an image we can put up on screen. Yeah, it's great. I can't actually share my screen, so Ben, unless you've got it sort of loaded.
I can get it set up as we talk.
Cool. Yeah, and that's if you want us to share it. But it was a lovely.
It's yours now.
It's a lovely little cartoon.
That was my gift to the Badgers for letting me come on, for being such a great host.
That's cool.
So
yeah, it's a lovely little picture. We also wanted to talk about, we're into kind of the last stretch now. You've mentioned your comic work, which is a different project.
Yes.
This is not something that people can pick up on Patreon, just to make like clear to everyone listening and watching. But yeah, so what's the comic art? What's the comic work going on? This is a new comic book coming out when?
Have we got? Do I need to screen share again?
If you can, yeah. Is it working? Is it taking its time?
It's taking its time. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
So, again, you can get these maps.
Yeah.
So this is the comic that I'm in cahoots with a very talented writer called Jordan Sam Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Who sadly, I think this could be potentially the last comic that he is doing, which is a shame because he's such a fantastic. He approached me because he liked my art, and he said, "Oh, if you have a read through my script, see what you think." And the characters just hit me straight away. And it's essentially, it's like a love story to games such as like Metal Gear Solid,
yeah,
and Army. It's been such a. I don't want to say too much, but it's about all-female military group called the Wasps who get caught behind enemy lines, and it's a mix of them trying to escape, the dynamics of their party. It's about love, betrayal. It's just, it's amazing. It's something that we decided it was something I'm going to finish, then take to Kickstarter with him.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to do a Kickstarter where it's not finished. As soon as that thing as soon as it's done, I want people to be like, right, I'm going to send this to print right away. You're going to get it in the next couple of months. I don't want to wait a year. I'm impatient like that. I've backed Kickstarters where I'm like, I've waited 3 years.
Yeah.
Where's my comic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not name shaming or like that, but it's like no. So it's a hard role. I did do a comic in the past called Nemo with Blue Fox Comics, which is available on my shop in the link tree.
So I will just post the link to that separately as well, because I do have your online store, so I'll put that in chat now.
Yeah, so that you can get hold of that comic, which if you're a Jack the Ripper fan, it's a retelling of Jack the Ripper, loosely based on the assumption that a famous artist called Walter Sickert was in fact Jack the Ripper.
Cool.
So yeah, that's a story about him trying to deal with being Jack the Ripper and being the artist. Where did the two come together? Does he need Jack to be an artist? Once he's painted his perfect masterpiece, then what? Does he still need Jack?
Yeah.
It's that was the first comic I've done, and that is available. You can also get some very good looking prints. Like there's a print here in the background. And yeah, just check out. It's fantastic. But back to the comic, sorry. So this is a story about a group of special army soldiers. I'm terrible at pitching, but the script just popped out of me, and
that is brilliant. That is fantastic.
One of my favorite pages. It's when I read this page in the script, I was like, I can't do that. It was a real when I was like, right, well, we're gonna do that, and then it's been a real learning curve. Like I've improved, and unfortunately, I lost a lot of this work.
No.
Due to an iPad malfunction, and it didn't back up. So all this I redrew, but it became a blessing in disguise because the older pages weren't as nice as I've made them now.
Right.
So it was a real testament to what I could do now. And yeah, it was any artist will know you can get fatigue. So once I lost the pages, I was so disheartened. I started to redo the pages, and I was like, am I falling out of love with this project? The second I finished those pages, I was like, a new page. Oh my God, yes, I love this. It was just because I had to repeat the same process again. I was like, oh no. And then as soon as I finished, it was all coming back to me. I was like, oh my God, I love this. Oh my God, I love these characters. So that's a fight scene between some characters.
So do you do all of your art on the iPad then? Is
Yeah.
that your normal
So
medium?
it used to be a Wacom with Photoshop, but
Yeah.
Adobe, and I'll be on record on this, are robbing bastards. If you use Adobe, just don't. If you're an illustrator, definitely don't. You can get Affinity publisher to make books. You can do Procreate or Clip Studio, which don't cost you a fraction of what you have to pay yearly. £10 I've paid for Procreate. That's it. I'm not paying stupid amounts a month to justify having a living. So it's use Procreate, but boycott Adobe. Unless they want to sponsor Brenda Badgers, then we love them.
Hey, if Adobe's out there listening, you want to sponsor a band of badges, do it.
Damn, I've just sank that shit for you, Dave. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Ignore Ben, because what we'll do, you
Yeah.
give us a few licenses, we'll let him have one, okay, and then we'll be good. We'll be golden, yeah. All right then. So Adobe, just get in touch. That's fine.
So yeah, this is another my absolute Natalie, my favorite character. She would be the cleric of the group. And it's got a lot of homage to, like I said, Metal Gear Solid, all 80s vibes, 90s. It's just it was for me. It was really testing. In between losing the pages and starting the new ones is when I got Procreate. So I was really changing up how I inked things, how I drew it, which changed it definitely. That's one of my favorite pages. It's during an escape scene. And it's very, as you can tell, spoiler alert, there won't be any mechanical horses. It's all hallucinogenic gas. So that's what Natalia's seeing. So she thinks she's about to be rescued. He's coming on this valiant steed. It's just a hoverbike. There is some sci-fi element to it. And then gotta have a villain. And this film was a lot of fun to draw. Give her a mechanical arm. But a bit of a... It's not so much a spoiler as it is on the beginning, but yeah, it was just a scene when I was like, oh, it's where I got the excitement back of it. There's a few pages that I'm just not going to show people because, wait until it's finished.
So how far are you through it, do you reckon, percentage-wise?
It's when again, working full-time, it's when I get the time to jump at the pages, but hopefully next year at some point.
Yeah.
Jordan's got his own things going on, so he doesn't put pressure on me. He's so supportive with and loves the pages when I do eventually get around to them.
Yeah.
So if you are a creative and you're an artist, you look for a writer, find a writer you can just gel with. It's very much a back and forth with. He's more than welcome to critique the art. He hasn't at this point, but he's like, oh, why they did this instead? Or again, he's not so precious with his script where he's like, there's some things that he'd script and I think it'll work better as a 3-panel rather than a 2-panel. Instead of this angle, do this angle. And he's been like, yeah, no, you're right, that's better. That works. On the odd time, it's just like, I don't want to do that kind of shot. That's difficult. I don't want to draw that perspective. Hey, what if we do this instead? And luckily, I managed to convince him that, oh no, that looks good. But I think to have it's great to be with a writer has that you both have the same vision, the same want for a project, and it's turned such a passion project that I do want to finish for him as well, because he's a great guy, great writer, he deserves it. Jordan Sam Adams, who's on Twitter, definitely check him out.
So is that the Kickstarter? Would you do the Kickstarter? Would you go with Jordan doing it?
Probably, I'm not sure I've seen his Kickstarter page, because I think it'd be my Kickstarter page, but again, the joint 50-50 thing, like it wouldn't. But yeah, I think it's one of them. Once we've got the pages, then we're going to decide. We're like, do we want to pitch it? Do we want to make sure? Yeah, no. So that was where I started. I wanted to do comics, and then it turned into game design, and another project I'm doing, which I've got a good bit into. Again, it's just finding the time to do it. Is an actual board game.
Yeah.
Where it's a fully. Have I got it in here? No. I'm not going to roll rummage for it. But I've got it. The box printed, the boards printed. I've got some cards printed. So far, it looks pretty good. And it's just when I ever get the time to illustrate these 200 cards that come with it.
Yep. There's definitely something in there. I mean, board games have been phenomenal during lockdown as well. The board game industry has just took off onto a whole other level. The amount of new creativity that's coming out of board games, and people being at home with families and stuff, creating board games with their kids.
Yeah.
Just create, a game mechanic, and then pitching these to other people or stick them onto Kickstarter has just been amazing.
Some fantastic stuff's come out from lockdown.
There's some really nice stuff out there, actually. It's really well done.
I did benefit from the lockdown being furloughed, because it was like a month where I blacked out and then came up with a board game. Ended up with a board game. I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
And it was it was just fun. I played last time I played it was on New Year's, so I really need to. I'll need to refresh myself on the rules. But it was just fun, and I think when I get the chance, I'm gonna make the shit out of that board game. It was fun to play. It had the right amount of teamwork or screwing each other over, enough to enjoy it.
Plus, you get these games now where you get the main board game, and then you get a much smaller box, but it's here's an expansion, here's an idea that we can fit into the main box. We've had feedback, and now we're going to do this, and you can just use that as a base game. Here's a new theme, here you go.
Yeah,
it's almost like board games get released with patches now as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
you get
patch
revisions of
updates.
it. Yeah.
I've got the board game, and I haven't even finished the board game, but I know what I'm going to do as the patches, as the DLCs. I already know what that's going to be if it kicked off. Again, I have so many passion projects that I just need to find time for.
Well, we are going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Ben, for joining us once again, and for sharing kind of your thoughts and processes of just basically, when we've had you on, we've gone straight into REDMERROW Chronicles, and although we've talked off air about all the stuff you've been doing, everything on, it's actually really good to just kind of sit down and have a chat, have a beer, and do it to an audience as well. So that's been really nice. And
it's been a really nice chat. Thank you for having me, guys.
No worries, anytime. We'll do as we mentioned, we teased kind of at the end of REDMERROW Chronicles Chapter 1. Who knows when we'll be back with Chapter 2? It could be we'll get the crew back together again. Who knows?
Spoiler, guys! Band of Badgers banned me. I'm not allowed to go near them anymore.
Yeah, you're out. You've done enough.
I will say,
you come back when Chapter 2's done.
Yeah, so not a second sooner. May I screen share, and I'll show what happens when you guys have a technical issue?
Oh yeah. Go for it. Push the button. All right, there we go. Boom. I thought that was superb.
That is very good. That is very good.
There's a lot of elements there. I love the fact I spotted it straight away. There is a Beholder mini.
There is a Beholder mini.
Yeah. And if you notice,
I'm pinning this because I can't see it.
And then if you notice, the keys that have popped out is KO.
Yeah,
we have our Band of Badgers flyers and paperwork.
There is also a Ranger mini there, obviously.
So yeah, I love them.
It's the little details. You gotta love them.
So again, yeah, get in touch with Ben. Commission some artwork, commission some projects. Okay, there is a lot. He is extremely talented, writing and drawing. He is a fantastic artist. He has a sense of humour, which is very rare. Believe me, because I've spoken to lots of artists. For having only had a comic shop for 20 years and going to conventions all over the place, I've met a lot of artists, and not many of them have a sense of humour. So,
a lot of them do, but there's a lot of social insecurities or socially awkwardness. There's a lot of it in the comic industry. Not a great deal. There's so many lovely people in it, but you will find, like, unless you got to know them, you probably think like, oh, they don't want to talk to me.
And they do.
Everyone's
actually
lovely.
needs someone to. Everyone needs someone to talk to, basically, because that's how we communicate. We're humans. We need that human contact. So I'm going to switch back to the main screen. It's all going to go a bit crazy until I push this button. There we go. And I've lost it again. I'll try that button now. Right, I just hit all the buttons until it works. Right. So again, Ben, it's been a pleasure. Always a pleasure. We will get you on again at some point soon. Steve, you've been the co-host. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks.
I don't have the Stevie button set up, but anyway.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, we'll get you next time. But Ben, okay, we will see you next time. Check out Ben's links. They're all in live chat at the moment. It's on screen. Patreon.com/NorthernWilding. Until next time. See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.